Hi, and welcome back to Somatic Balance 108. My name is Caroline, I'm your head practitioner. In order, I am a somatic practitioner, educator, yoga and meditation teacher, and author. Today, we're going to talk about the difference between sadness and grief. Sadness is a rather fleeting sensation. Sadness fundamentally means we are brought out of balance when it comes to our equilibrium, enjoying life for what it is. Equilibrium means we are in a homeostasis, in a balanced state. Sadness has drawing us to the lower end of that spectrum. We may feel heat or cold shivers, tears may form, the jaw may clench, the mind drifts normally towards the past. We're having a sensation of missing something or someone. We're walking down memory lanes in our head. Mostly, we are in our thought processes not alone. A second person, subject or scenario has triggered such sadness. Grief, on the other hand, manifested in the body and has become a hardwiring within the brain. Grief is when something has been ripped from us without our control. If we don't meet sadness with loving kindness and don't allow it to move through within the time span where the grief sensation has occurred first, it might develop into grief. Look at it like a scab. Let's say you tripped over as a child, you hurt your knee, and it has just about healed over, and you have that blood scrap just on top of the layer, connecting and creating new skin tissue. That is sadness. Grief is the wound underneath. In best case scenario, both of them will heal fully, maybe leave a little scar. Worst case scenario, you keep chipping away on that scab and that wound will never heal. Sadness is a surface emotion. It sticks around without much control, where grief is an embodied emotion and can be compartmentalized. When working on grief with my clients, I use an analogy that I've read very early in my career. Unfortunately, I forgot who coined it first, but I'll make very sure I don't claim it as my own invention. Put grief in a little mason jar or any container you have at home, an actual container. Maybe write on a little piece of paper, grief, or even the reason for your grief, or just draw something on it that represents how you feel when you are grieving. Pop it in the jar, seal the jar, and put it in a shelf. This is how grief works. We can come back to it when we are ready. It might be activated or triggered in a certain scenario in life. Grief is so deep within us that in that moment we can actually push it aside. Similarly to hunger, thirst, sleepiness, and other sensations that we are in semi-control over up to the point of severe starvation, where sadness doesn't get controlled as easily. Sadness, when triggered, erupts immediately, and that's when we are still in the emotional level, which is beautiful because then we can easier detach from it. Grief doesn't need to be looked as a villain. Grief can become our little pet or our little companion for life. Let's say you have lost a loved one. I would never argue that that is something that you need to let go of. No way. There was a reason that they were in your life. Let's say you were one of those beautiful, lucky people who has been married for 40 plus years and your partner eventually has passed away. Why would you ever want to erase that? You can then allow grief to be there and befriend it with joyous memories. That is the moment when we go into hysterical laughter because of something happens and unexpectedly flip into severe crying. Let me know in the comments if that ever happened to you. It happens to me all the time. I have a fair bit of grief stored in me too. Yet, I am a very joyful person and I'm genuinely having a positive outlook to life. Sadness is there every now and then, as it is with all of us. But grief, I deal with it in my own time. However, sometimes it gets a little bit unlocked, that little mason jar gets a little bit hinged when someone tells a joke or I'm experiencing a belly loud laugh where we start crying in laughter and then all this bottled up grief and sadness overtakes and we can't stop crying, and that is okay. Allow to take grief on a walk, genuinely. Go out in nature, with or without that little mason jar, but take it with you in heart and show it around into the life that you have created for yourself. outside of grief and point out the things to grief that you are grateful for right now in this life. This may help you to balance your grief and sadness a little bit better. Grief is something we can have its own little container for and doesn't need to be carried with us every day. So allow yourself to differentiate between grief and sadness, and allow yourself to not push down whatever erase it when it needs to be seen. Another thing I highly suggest to my clients is have a sob fest. And by now, which I love a lot, TV shows and films have picked up on those notions. Merge them into the storyboard, kind of like a little joke, but it's actually real. I recently came across the series Shrinking on Apple TV. I'm not doing any ads here. I actually don't have it. I watched it at a friend's house. I love the suggestion of Harrison Ford's character, 15 minutes of grief pockets or sadness pockets. Pick the saddest song you know, sit on your bed, have a box of tissues with you, and let it all move out. It's real. I'm subscribing this to my clients for years. Or a full-on sob fest. Put a whole playlist together you know will verge you to tears or make you angry, and put the timer on 90 minutes. The most important thing is the timer. You have to have a set end date of that experience. Once the timer rings, no matter where you are in your bell curve of your grief, you have to snap out. You gotta stop the music, you gotta dry your eyes, you gotta muster up and be like, well, that felt good. Now you go back into your shelf. You will notice a genuine physical shift within yourself. Give it a try. Put Sobfest down into the comments and I send you a playlist that I curated, which I play on my retreats or I use when I work with my clients. I hope this video helped you a little bit to move through sadness or look at grief differently. Feel free to reach out if you see yourself challenged in life with grief or sadness. In our channel bio, you will find links to our practice webpage as well as my personal webpage, and I'm happy to schedule a Zoom call with you to discuss further. Thank you so much for watching. If you have been new here, please hit the subscribe button. If you've been here before, thank you for your support. Don't forget to hit the bell to get a notification when the next video is going to be uploaded. Put a comment in the box, hit the like button, and I hope to see you soon. Keep in mind, our credo is healing the world, one soul at a time. Thank you. See you next time.